Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we've got something a little bit different for you guys. Now, you got a new ranked battles coming up. It should have just started today. It's tier 6 ranked battles. So I thought, why not go over some of the ships that are probably going to be seen the most in tier 6 ranked. So, without further ado, let's get this party started. So, first of all, we're starting on the left, obviously. So we're going to be looking at Benson and Kidd and Atlanta. All three of these ships are probably going to be pretty prevalent. Atlanta, if it's in the hands of the right commander, like it can be pretty damaging. Sorry. And of course, Atlanta Black, same thing. So Boise probably going to be showing up as well as a prolific fire starter. It's a pretty nasty little ship. But the reason Atlanta is so good, and not necessarily Flint, is because of that radar. Okay, there's not too many radars at tier 6. So having the ability for that radar and just, I mean, look at the amount of guns you got. Do you really need to know anything else than that? Of course, you're going to have the Helena is going to be showing up. I mean, it's literally just nasty. This is going to be a fire starter for everybody. Plus, if the person knows what they're doing and when they can switch to AP, it's got fantastic AP as well. So you'll be seeing that. New Orleans and Colorado. Probably not going to see as many New Orleans. Just due to the fact that there are other ships that I think are better at tier 6 than the New Orleans. But Colorado is definitely going to be seen. It's a pretty staple part of tier 6. Like, you don't get into too many tier 6 matches and not see Colorados. It's a great ship. A little bit slow, a little bulky, but it's very hard to come up against with that kind of firepower. That firepower is devastating when it behaves. Not quite as accurate as your Iowas and stuff because it doesn't get the 11% dispersion bonus, but when it does behave, it is nasty. And remember, if you're doing the bow tank and then the little shuffle that you do where you bow tank the incoming rounds and then turn out to get your rear guns involved, as long as you do that and you're not giving the broadside of this ship up to be hit, then you're going to have a good game. Akatsuki goes without saying. It's a Japanese destroyer. It'll be there, guaranteed, every time. Miyoko obviously is going to be there just because of the fire starting ability. Don't think you're going to see too many Ashitakas. Nagato is another one you're going to see. It's a good ship. Not as good as it used to be, but it's still a good ship, and I imagine somebody's going to be taking it. Ragnarok, not so much. Cossack, I mean, I don't know how many people would choose the Cossack. I mean, its biggest selling point is the fact that it's got better AA. So I highly doubt that that's going to be a thing. Most people probably going to prefer the Jervis. Then you got the Belfast. Belfast is definitely going to be there. I mean, it goes without saying. Belfast is amazing. It's going to be there. Fiji as well. Fiji is underrated. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is my favorite ship of the British the light cruiser line. So this is the favorite ship for me. Edinburgh is okay, but this ship I think is better than Edinburgh. But that's just my opinion. You're probably going to see a hood, but probably not as many hoods as you would expect. King George, probably, but you're definitely going to run into Nelson's. Nelson is going to be the prolific British battleship that shows up at tier 6. This thing, as a fire starter, it knows no, equal. This thing is disgusting. Then you throw on top of that the amazing heal. We've got the Azure Lane Commander on here. It's not even maxed out. We've got 3 heals now. If we could get this to rank 16, then we would get 4 heals. And remember, that's a super heal capable of healing extreme damage. You can literally reprint your ship. So, not preferable for anybody who's on the receiving end. It's very, very good. However, it has very, very weak armor on the sides. So if it over angles, if you catch one of these broadsides, literally anybody firing armor piercing can Citadel a Nelson if they catch it broadside. Doesn't matter if you're a cruiser, doesn't matter, well, if you're a destroyer, you got to be really close. But a cruiser, a battleship especially, anybody that hits a Nelson's broadside with armor piercing is going to get Citadels. It is just disgusting how much damage you can take off of a Nelson in a single hit. The Moss is definitely going to be there as well. It's a very good destroyer. It's a very good anti-destroyer. So this is one of a lot of experienced destroyer captains they're going to be using, just to make sure that they're able to get in there and get rid of enemy destroyers, give their team the advantage. Z39, same deal. York is not going to be probably that prevalent. I mean, it does have the ridiculous number of torpedoes for a cruiser, but at the same time, those 210mm guns fire so high and so slow that it just makes this thing an absolute nightmare for most people to even bother playing. Now, those people that are good in it can probably do pretty well, but probably not going to see a lot of Yorks. Gneisenau, absolutely. And Scharnhorst, absolutely. Both of these ships are going to be prevalent in this ranked battles because both of them offer very strong protection and armor and torpedoes. Very good ships. Gneisenau, not so much in the firepower side of things, with only having 6 guns, and we all know how they control you. But you put the Henry Hyde build and you got 5 heals, this thing is going to be nasty and tier 6 ranked. Because it's fast, it gets up in there, it can take the hits, and it can dish them out. Scharnhorst is lacking in the firepower so much, but it can take more hits than any other German battleship by far, even while giving up its full broadside. Don't get me wrong, it can definitely get punished, but you will almost never Citadel a Scharnhorst. It has the most effective turtleback armor in the game, period. Lay Terrible, I imagine there will be a lot of people that are good in destroyers trying to play the Lay Terrible. Don't know how many of them are going to be successful. Vauquelin, same thing, or Vauquelin, however you want to call it. But yeah, it's the same deal. Experienced destroyer commanders that are very good are going to be the ones that you see in these destroyers. So keep that in mind. Charlemagne, Lyon, both going to be prevalent, as well as the tier 6, which is... I'm losing it. What is the tier 6? I forget. But the tier 6 cruiser probably as well. Leningrad. Possibly. Though I don't think you're going to run into too many of these. Minsk definitely is going to be there. Again, this is an anti-destroyer, as well as anti-cruiser if it gets into good positions. Poltava's definitely going to be there if people know what they're doing. It's a pretty good ship. Sinop, obviously, is a very good ship. The only downside to the Sinop is being overmatched by 16-inch guns through the bow. But that can be said for any tier 6 battleship at that point. 16-inch guns overmatch every battleship at this tier, and I don't think there are any exceptions. I could be wrong. Somebody will have to point it out in the bottom. And then, of course, you got the Blizzy, and Blizzy definitely will also be showing up from time to time. Probably not as prevalent as others, but it's definitely going to be one that you will see. Now, which ones would I personally select as ships that I would be willing to run? Well, Sinop is definitely there. We've got Lyon. Okay, and you guys know I'm a battleship captain, but I will be, focusing on the cruisers as well, or telling you guys about that. But Sinop, Lyon, Vauquelin. I don't remember too much about Les Terrible. I wasn't very good in it, but I know a lot of people really love this ship. So I imagine there's going to be a handful of people that'll be running Les Terrible and Vauquelin. They're both very good for anti-destroyer roles. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, again, like these are fantastic choices. Personally, I'm not very good with the German battleships, but you can't deny how good these two ships are at their tier. You're not going to be bottom tier in these, which means these two ships are just absolutely nasty, especially with help. If they can get help and not be focused by everybody, that's when they're going to have their most fun. Nelson is probably one that I'm going to be using quite a bit, just because of its ability to take hits and then just keep everything on fire forever. It's got a decent reload speed. It's got stupid fire chance. You get all of your firepower at the front of the ship with very little angling needed to get all 3 guns to fire. It's got decent armor as long as you don't go flat broadside. You go flat broadside, you're going to get punished. But you do have those giant heels to protect you. King George, not so much. Hood, not so much. Not that they're bad ships, but it's just not something that I personally would go for. Akatsuki, definitely. That is, you can't dispute it. Akatsuki is literally disgusting. And then, of course, Colorado's one of my personal favorites. So, of course, I would be loving the Colorado. And then, of course, the Kidd or Benson. Kidd is actually a good choice in this situation. Even though you have you have less torpedoes, just having the firepower and the heels is a huge advantage. So, yeah, it's a different kind of video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Let me know what you guys are going to be using in the comments below. You guys heard it from me. I'm going to be focusing on, Colorado, Nelson, Gneisenau, Scharnhorst. Those are my picks for battleships. Akatsuki, Kidd, Le Terrible, or Vauquelin, both very good for what I would choose in Tier 6 ranked for destroyers. And then as cruisers go, you've got the Atlanta, the Boise, the Helena, or the Miyoko, the Belfast. Like, there's going to be a lot more variety of cruisers out there than there is anything else. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of good cruisers at Tier 6. So there's going to be a lot of cruiser players out there that are doing really well this time. So, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.